All right, greetings and welcome back once again. This is Amuna. This is Noteworthy, and this is going to be the first of a few of these type of videos since we're in this masculine and feminine range of conversation. Girl, this is 41 minutes ago today. 13 sues Florida. We're in Florida. Over transgender school athletes banned. Tallahassee, Florida, AP News. A 13-year-old transgender girl sued Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on Wednesday over a new law that will prevent her from playing girls' sports at public schools, arguing that the ban is discriminatory and will deprive her of opportunities. A lot of the personal pronouns are saying her, but for sake of understanding, it's a boy who's saying he's a girl now. It takes a lot of money to sue. Somebody has to be behind this boy. But let's continue. Who's saying he's a girl. The Broward County girl, Daisy, they keep saying girl, but it's a boy for the sake of the conversation, or else this suit wouldn't make sense, has played on his girls' soccer team since she was 7, but will no longer be able to do so on school teams under the law that takes effect Thursday. Basically, if you're not born of a certain gender, then just because you identify doesn't mean you can play, because it gives people an unfair advantage, right? Participating in sports has given her leadership skills and provided her a social network and support system, according to the lawsuit filed on her behalf by Human Rights Campaign. I know somebody else had to file it, okay? In federal court in Fort Lauderdale. The lawsuit only identifies her as DN to protect her privacy. The group said her name is Daisy. She also planned to try out for a high school volleyball team. Depriving her of these opportunities will have a long-term impact on her future. What happens when her goes into the locker room? What happens when someone actually who is a born woman or a girl bumps into her and realizes her is a him? It also will create a sense of shame and diminish her positive sense of self, which can have lifelong consequences, the suit says. The new law also sends a message to Daisy's current and future teammates that there is something wrong with her. DeSantis signed the bill on June the 1st, the first day of Pride Month. The bill requires anyone participating in girl athletics to have an original birth certificate that states they are female. This is where we are, 2021. What part of the Twilight Zone? What part of the Twilight Zone have we fallen into? It's like we've been sucked up and spit out into some alternate universe. Let me keep reading. Ron DeSantis made a conscious choice to sign an anti-LGBTQ bill on the very first day that we are celebrating Pride, said Alfonso David, president of the Human Rights Campaign. DeSantis decided to take that day to attack the community. It was not lost on us that he did that as a political theater, but this bill that he signed has real-world negative implications for transgender people in Florida. What about other people? DeSantis' office didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. When he signed the Fairness in Women's Sports Act at Christian schools surrounded by student athletes, DeSantis was asked why he was doing so on the first day of Pride Month. It's not a message to anything other than saying we're going to protect fairness in women's sports. We believe that it's important to have integrity in the competition, and we think it's important that they can compete in a level playing field, DeSantis replied. Daisy began taking hormone blockers. How old was this person again? To stop testosterone when she was 11. So when the boy was not old enough to drink, smoke cigarettes, or gamble, someone, including their parents and doctors, began giving the child hormone therapy to make permanent changes. According to the lawsuit, it says because the treatment, she has no competitive advantage because her sex assigned at birth. Let me get through this. If Daisy does not have that option to play girls' sports in high school and college, she will not be able to play sports at all. Why can't she play boys' sports? In the same way, I'll go into, she will not be able to, she can play in the boys' team. Because technically, he is a boy, and so he can play on the boys' team if he wants to participate in the reindeer games. Like Rudolph, you know. You can still play. It's like this false dichotomy. If I don't play here, I can't play anywhere. Yes, you can play over here. Why can't you play over here? I'm not understanding. And not being able to play sports at all, and will lose the benefits of being part of the team network that has supported her emotionally and psychologically. You can still play sports on the boys' team because technically, you know, not to be a stickler, you're still a boy. And this is where we get to facts over fiction. How far down the rabbit hole are we going to go? You know, how far are we going to go? Technically, this young person was born a male, XY, male. And we're playing this whole let's reimagine and then force the reimagined version of reality onto a whole group and demographic of people. There's another video I wanted to show about how this plays out in society, and that this is not just Daisy's issue, how this, you know, when we saw about going into the bathrooms, there's a spa video circulating. I'm gonna try to see if I can get it, a small clip, or I'll just talk about it when I finish reading this. She will be isolated and face emotional and mental confusion and emotional distress during this critical period of her social and psychological development. So I find it fascinating that the lack of acceptance of everybody else accepting this reality that someone is manufacturing to a certain degree, because you have to give the hormones, you have to do things, you have to manufacture this reality, and everybody else has to play in, or the person is going to experience emotional distress. But that is not set on the other side, where you're inflicting emotional distress because everybody else has to buy into this narrative that you have constructed for yourself. People will say, well, that it's two different issues going on here. And I think that this plays right into the conversation that we've been having about male and female, masculine and feminine, how one is hardwired biology, the other one is energy. So this young person may feel energetically more inclined towards feminine energy, but that doesn't mean that you are a female. That doesn't mean that you were born with the form and function of what will later become a woman. These young girls that you want to play amongst, they will grow up and become women because they were born girls. But this young girl who is actually born a boy will not grow up and become a woman. And this whole blending and blurring of the lines is not leading to anywhere that's going to make for grounded and rooted well-defined lines. Some things need to be well-defined. Like, okay, so the spa situation, it's, I guess, a woman's spa where they can go with their daughters, and this man shows up and he's revealing himself, and his phallus, his genitalia is hanging out, and the people are complaining to the manager of the spa, and the manager of the spa is like, yo, we can't do anything about it. And they're like, he's clearly a man. Right? It's like, wait a minute now. One person doesn't feel a certain way, and then they get to impose that on everybody else who can clearly see that it is what you're saying it is not. Let me know your thoughts. On this hit article, they're trying to sue DeSantis because now apparently if someone says the sky is green, you have to agree, because if you don't agree, that I'm going to say that you are this, that, and that. And really what that is a level of manipulation. It's a level of silencing. It's a level of controlling the narrative so that there is no opposition. And that ultimately is not free speech. That is suppression of speech and thoughts and ideas, because now one person's existence matters more than the other, and then there's guilt tripping in here, there's shifting of blame in here, there's asserting that them not accepting the fact that this little boy is a little boy in a little girl's space is going to be more damaging than the damage of imposing this little boy into the space of all of these young girls in their formative years, in their developing years. So let me know your thoughts on that one. I have another one. I wanted to go over the Olympic one, but it's kind of in the same vein. So we'll come back and have more conversations. I think we're going to go back and define things. For those who say, Muna, we need definitions. Clearly we need definitions, because the article is saying a transgender girl, and it's clear that it's a boy. But the article is leading us to believe it's a girl. Let me know your thoughts. Respectfully, these are mine. Leave your comments in the box.